Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat. This fan still needs to. There we go. That was a better fan flap, wasn't it? Yes. You have to practice with them. Like, there we go. I think I finally got it with this fan. I've finally broken it in. Fans are like new pairs of shoes. You have to break them in. So hello to my Steps of Sussexers. Right, I don't know. What do you guys want to call yourself? Steps of Sussexers? Steps of Sussex? I don't know. Anyway, you guys can make up. Tell me what you want to be known as. Anyway, we have a few days of Steps of Sussex, Harry and Meghan news to catch up on. As always, this is a live chat, so I want to go and find the live stream. So here we are. I have it. Let's make it set to live chat. Them says twice this morning is exciting. Yes, I did go live on my other channel, Royal Reviewer, as well, talking about all the other royals. But this channel is, of course, for Harry and Meghan, devoted to them. So yes, hello to everyone who is watching. Now, let's just go straight into the news. So, whenever I did the last live chat, I think it was 2 days ago now, I spoke about Harry attending the Invictus Games event with Jon Bon Jovi, where Jon Bon Jovi recorded the charity single Unbreakable with the Invictus Games choir. Now, it was pointed out that that entry was not entered into the court circular, which I found quite interesting, and I kind of said in the last live chat's news, I said, well, it's either one of several things. It's either they forgot about it, which is very, very, very rare. They do not normally forget these things. 2, it was not put in there on purpose for some kind of reason. Or 3, it was a late entry and it didn't make it in on Friday, but it was going to potentially be put in on Monday. So, of course, I checked. I went back and I checked the court circular. I can't see it. I can't see the diary date entered in there. I put, when I was doing the search, you can put dates in to search between. So I entered them in a few days before that engagement, and I also put it in today. So I kind of wanted to see what would come up. It wasn't in there. So I can only assume, we can only assume at the moment that it was not put in there for some kind of reason. Is this to do with the transition period? Is the Invictus Games now being classed as one of Harry's non-royal, not representing the royal family engagements? Is that why it wasn't entered into the court circular? That could be a possibility. I'm not saying it is. I'm just going through the options as to what it could be. Now, some people have been saying, is it a snub? Now, again, this scenario of a snub doesn't check out to me either, because on the same day that Harry was meeting Jon Bon Jovi, at the changing of the guard, where traditionally they only play normal band music, normal armed forces music when they change the guard, they were actually playing Jon Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. That was no coincidence. They were told to play that in honour of what was going on with Harry, with his engagement, meeting Jon Bon Jovi, and of course with the recording of Unbreakable for the Invictus Games charity. So, on the one hand, you don't get the entry in the court circular, but you do get the support. Obviously, that was, it comes down from up on high, so the Queen would have given her permission for that song to be played, for the music to be changed from the changing of the guard. It's outside Buckingham Palace, in the Buckingham Palace forecourt, to honour what Harry was doing with the Invictus Games charity. So, I don't think the palace would have done that if then they were going to snub Harry. It just doesn't check out to me. So, the most likely scenario is that the Invictus Games charity was not being considered representing the royal family, which is why you get an entry in the court circular. It still could be that in the coming days it's added. at which point, of course, I will change that view. But at the moment, I can't see it in there. I've done a search, I've checked. If you guys can see it, if you know, go and have a look. But I can't see that on there. So let's just see what people are saying. Yes, hello and good morning to everybody. Bev M says, do you think the infection that's going around the world, I can't use its name for YouTube reasons, but you know what I mean, the infection that's going around the world, do you think that will affect the Invictus Games? There has been talk in the UK about potential emergency measures. We are not at that stage yet. We are not at the stage in the UK, for example, where we close down football stadiums or shopping centres or public transport. Those are being talked about. They are things that potentially could happen if it gets out of control and we want to limit the amount of spread. That, of course, could be extrapolated out and adopted by other countries as well. So, the Invictus Games, potentially, we don't know what the situation with the infection is going to be. So, it could be possible. Maybe the Invictus Games could take place with no people, with no audience. Potentially that could happen. I don't know. It depends on how different countries around the world try and control the spread. And that's all I'm saying on that one. Win says it makes sense. Perhaps they want the Invictus Games to be Harry's thing. That makes a lot of sense to me. It's the only thing that makes sense. I don't believe in a snub. I don't believe they forgot to put it in. I think it's definitely not been put in for a reason, and I don't think that reason is necessarily a bad reason. Sometimes people see snubs and see disses and all that kind of thing in places where it's just not. Usually there is some kind of really good reason as to why. At the moment, we don't quite know what it is, but I suspect it's along the lines of what I just spoke about. Reverend Darlene says, that is why Archie isn't going to the UK. One of the reasons. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. So I was just going to get onto that. So let me skip to the other story because you brought that up beautifully. It will link into my next story, which is the March the 9th Commonwealth Day service, and we have an official announcement of who is going to attend from the palace. So I'm just going to read that now. So Buckingham Palace has said, Her Majesty the Queen, head of the Commonwealth, accompanied by the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, will attend the annual Commonwealth service at Westminster Abbey on Commonwealth Day, March the 9th. The Commonwealth theme for 2020 is delivering a common future, connecting, innovating, transforming, placing emphasis on youth, the environment, trade, governance and ICT. So there we go. An official announcement that Harry and Meghan are going to attend in an official capacity, still as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, still as HRHs on March the 9th. We do have a few little details about what's going to happen at that service. So, Olympic gold medalist Anthony Joshua will deliver a reflection during the service. And there will also be performances from Craig David and Alexandra Burke, who are UK musical stars, pop stars. You may have heard of them, you may not. More than 2,000 people from all over the Commonwealth will attend the event, which will be shown on BBC One. So, in last year, I think BBC One streamed it on the internet. So, on YouTube, actually. So, if you want to see that, look out for that on YouTube. It will be streamed, more than likely. And there, also 800 school children will also attend. So it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a very interesting, very good, very powerful, very moving Commonwealth Day service, as they always are. Each one is slightly different in its own style and form, and this one is set to be no different. I think it will be another really great, amazing one. Again, we will get to see all those great things, but also what the royal wives are wearing, what Meghan's wearing, Catherine's wearing, the Queen, Camilla. I also really like looking at what Camilla wears, because actually when you look at what she wears, she always wears some really interesting things. But let me know, what designer do you think Meghan will wear for the Commonwealth Day service? Who do we think? Are we thinking Oscar de la Renta? Let me know. Who do you think? Who do you think she is going to be sporting? Let me know. I want to know your thoughts. Let me just go down. Where's my chat room? There it is. Oh yeah, and going back to Reverend Darlene's comment, I have heard rumours. I have heard lots of stories, people commenting that they do not believe that Archie will be accompanying his parents on this trip. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know what the sources are, but all the people that are reporting it sound pretty convinced that it's true. I can't say if it is true or not. Nobody can until Meghan and Harry actually arrive, and either there is Archie in tow or there is not. So we're going to have to wait and see. But all the talk is that Archie will be staying behind. Now, behind in Canada, possibly with Jessica Mulroney and obviously Nanny, whoever the nanny may be. But let's not discount that at the last minute, perhaps Archie could be there. And we had on Good Morning Britain today Ken Wharf. Now, Ken Wharf is a former Royal Protection Officer. He was the one who guarded Diana. He's got a series of books about how about his relationship with Diana, about how Royal Protection Officers work. Now, he was offering his opinion today on whether or not it was safer for Archie to be left behind in Canada from a safety point of view. So it was very, very interesting to hear Ken's point of view, because he wasn't looking at it from whether, he likes certain people, who doesn't like certain people. He hasn't got an agenda in it. He was just giving his honest opinion, his professional opinion on what is safer. Would it be safer in that circumstances to bring Archie over for a few days whilst they were doing those engagements, or would it be safer for Archie to stay behind in Canada? His opinion was that in those circumstances, because it was a short amount of days that they would be over in the UK, he thought it would be safer and more sensible for Archie to remain in Canada. But this is obviously a personal choice. If Harry and Meghan do decide that they want to bring Archie with them, regardless of whether or not it's safer for him to remain in Canada, that is what will happen. And those Royal Protection Officers will make it work. They will make sure that Harry, Meghan and Archie are safe, regardless of what decision they make, whether Archie stays back in Canada or whether he accompanies Mum and Dad to the UK for their final engagements as senior royals. We will have to wait and see on that one. Let me know again, what do you think will happen? Hello to Dot. Adriana says, thanks for the updates. As they say, keeping it real. I do try. I try my best. Bev M thinks Meghan might wear Dior. Ooh. Maybe she will. Maybe. Rin says, I hope they bring Archie to Beatrice's wedding. Again, we don't know whether they are actually going or not. I'm sure they will have been invited, but we don't know their schedule, or whether they will or not. I hope they do, so we can see them. Carol says she needs to give them a grand farewell, leave them with something to talk about for days. And Martine says, I hope Meghan is surprising all of us. And Reverend Darlene says, I was just watching that when I saw your notification. And Beverly Lex says, what part of Tampa are you in? Let us know what part of Tampa you're in. Janice says, I can see them waiting until Trooping the Colour to bring Archie. Again, it is entirely possible that Trooping the Colour could be an event they attend with Archie. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Reverend Darlene says, stay in Canada. Archie, what do you think? What do I think they will do? It makes more sense to me. I'm kind of in the Ken Worf camp. I kind of think it would be safer and less fuss to bring Archie over. But I'm trying to put myself in the perspective of, if I had a child, what would I want? Would I want to be parted for a few days? And I don't know. Would I welcome a bit of a break? I might possibly welcome a few days break, maybe. But then also, I'd probably miss my child, and I'd probably want my child with me. So I think it just boils down to, sometimes it's just a matter of head over heart or heart over head, and it's a very personal choice and a very personal decision which one you go with. And it's okay to do either. It's okay to leave Archie behind in Canada for a few days while you go and complete your final list of royal engagements as senior royals. It's also okay to take him with you. It's okay. Whatever they decide, it's okay. It's fine. Everyone else just deal with it. Deal with it. Rosa says, hi Elliot, just made the chat. Hello and welcome. Margaret says, if the visit goes well and it is completely uneventful, the tabloids will still make something up to talk about. Well, of course they will. They want their column inches, don't they, my loves? And they will still blame it on Meghan, more than likely. Becky says, I don't see any badges. Oh, not on this channel. I have to have over 30,000 subscribers for that. Per channel. I've got it on the other one, but not on this one yet. Diana Neal says they will leave Archie in Canada because of the C virus. I know the one you mean. Again, that would be another risk that would have to be considered. Yes, entirely. Michelle says if he's still nursing, she's going to bring Archie. If not, she's going to leave him behind. Again, another practical consideration. Adriana says, I remember when Harry was at previous Invictus Games, I thought he mentioned returning with the baby at the next Invictus Games, but it will be their choice entirely. Things have changed since then. I know people say things at certain points in time, but things change. Circumstances change, lives change. Harry and Meghan have gone through are going through a huge change in their lives. Moving country, stepping back from the royal family, embracing new ventures, new work, new charitable foundations. It's a lot. It's a big change. So, yeah, I don't think we can quite hold Harry completely by what he said at the last Invictus Games, because so much has changed since then that I think we can cut him some slack on that one. So, yeah, I'm not too concerned if he does go back on his word for that one. It would be nice to see Archie at the Invictus Games. I'm not going to lie. We can hope. We can live in hope. But I think we can cut him some slack on that one, can't we? Beverly says, I saw a comment on Twitter. Oh, must I read on? Which said that Meghan would have helped with the flooded areas. I agree, and I'm still not feeling good about the monarchy and the Commonwealth losing Harry and Meghan. Going to your point about flooding, there has been huge criticism in the UK of the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, who has not really been seen visible visiting the different people, different areas that have been affected by flooding. Prince Charles has visited previous floods. Members of the royal family do this. And hey, it's entirely likely that had Meghan, still been here in the UK, she may have gone and visited flood victims or, areas where the flooding is happening. It's what royals do. It's one of the reasons, why we in the UK love having a monarchy, because they do get their feet dirty and they do get stuck in, and they do help people when they are in need. Martine says, I am from the Netherlands. The C virus jokes are everywhere over here. What about... Well, I haven't really... those kinds of jokes often do the rounds on social media. I try to kind of stay away from the kind of Facebook jokes and the Twitter jokes that are going around. So I haven't heard any. I'm sure they are going around. But yeah, I mean, you know, talking about the C virus it's a big thing in the UK. It's all over the news. It's what people are talking about. Rin says, laughing at my reaction to Twitter. Well, you know my opinion about Twitter. It's full of twits. And the other one that begins with T as well. Reverend Darlene says, I agree with cookies. Oh, what did Cookies and Cream say? You hope Archie doesn't accompany his parents on this trip to the UK. I think it'll be safer for him in Canada. I hope the British media leave the Sussexes alone. It's their child and their decision. Vivian says, I would only bring baby Archie if I was travelling by private plane. Don't mention planes! We're banning planes. We're banning anything to do with private planes. He's still a baby and his immune system isn't strong. He hasn't had all his shots yet with the virus, not on a plane full of people. Don't mention planes! I'm banning it. I'm banning that word. Rin says, keeps it classy. Thank you. Annie says, for sure, Meghan would have gone to visit the people who were affected by the flooding. I mean, again, hypothetically speaking, we don't know, but I'm sure she would have done. Lots of royals have visited their areas. Let me just see if there's anything else I needed to speak. Oh yes, Sussex Royal Instagram post. So, as we know, on the 1st of every month, they change up their account about who they're following. Now, for the past 2 months, they have been following good news. They've been following good news outlets or championing good news outlets. And this month was no exception. They said in their post, Happy 1st of March, everyone. This month we continue on the good news path and are pleased to be following Tanks Good News. That's the @Tanks Good News. As a reminder of all the good that is happening in the world, we hope it uplifts and inspires you. Image and footage used are from the account we are now following. So I'll, just in case you're not subscribed, just in case you're not one of the 11.2 million people that are following them, I will post the link so that you can follow. Again, any links that I share, I will post in the description once I've gone off live, so you can follow. There is also a video accompanying that, which obviously is from that Good News channel. So do go and check that out. Also, it was on the 1st of March, it was St David's Day, which is the National Day of Wales. So if you saw my royal_reviewer Instagram account, you will see I posted some daffodils, which is the one of the Welsh, it's the Welsh flower. So they put, now I can't say it in Welsh, but they said, wishing all of our Welsh followers a happy St David's Day. So is it, did Gwyl dwi hapus? Anyway, it means, oh, yes, it means, I can't do that, but it means happy St David's Day. So happy St David's Day to everyone. And do let me know what you think about all these good news, positive news vibes. Margaret says, I think Harry and Meghan supporting good works are the way they are is very commendable indeed. Louisa says, ha 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 ha. Twitter is full of twits. Can't wait to see Meghan and Harry again. Wish we could see live Commonwealth ceremony on BBC America. I think it's going to be streaming. I'm pretty certain it will be streaming on the BBC. Last year, I'm sure it was on YouTube. Margaret says, how long do you think it will take for the tabloids to stop blaming Meghan for every bad thing that ever happens in this world? Infinity and beyond! Most likely. Reverend Darlene says, great for positive news. Patricia says, the Invictus is Harry's baby, he founded it. He did indeed, and that is one of the charities causes that he will still be continuing to do post stepping back as a senior royal. Right. Cookies and Cream says, pictures of Archie equals dollars to the press, of course. That's why they are trying to push this faux outrage about Archie and the trip. Again, like I said, it comes down, I think, pretty much to 2 things, head and heart, and which one Harry and Meghan go with, it's entirely up to them. Any decision of that nature is up to them. It's personal and it's all good. Raynetta says, could Harry commission a tiara called the Sussex Tiara? For Meghan, how often and under what circumstances are royal tiaras commissioned? Anyone can commission one. I mean, you could make, if you had enough money, you could commission your own tiara and call it whatever you want. But no, yeah, Harry and Meghan could indeed create their own tiara whenever they want. It doesn't have to be classed as a royal one. There is no such thing. I mean, technically, any jewellery, item of clothing, anything that a royal wears, you could say becomes a royal piece of fashion, a royal piece of jewellery. So all they've got to do is design one or have one designed, pay for it, of course, and she would have a tiara if that's what they wanted. And she could wear it whenever she wanted, in the bath, washing up, going on the school run, whatever. She could wear it whenever she wanted. Or Harry could wear it whenever he wanted to. Or they could even put it on long-term loan for me. But yeah, no, they could make one whenever they want to. As long as they've got enough money to pay for it, they could have one tomorrow. Why not? You know me. I would love to see a new tiara. I'm all for the tiaras. I would have a replica made in an instant. Rin says, I want the tiara. You want me to design one? Oh, I would love to design one. And yes, I agree. Sussex tiara would be awesome. Reverend Dollin says, I don't know if she would wear it though. I mean, again, it's one of them things where, you know, tiaras are probably not on vogue at the moment. I don't know. I would wear them. You know I would wear them. But it's probably not the done thing these days. Tiara usage is not as prolific as it once was. Ugh. Much to my disdain, because the more the better. You know I want to see more. More is more. Beverly says, tiara question. No tiaras till marriage, right? Yeah, Princess Anne wore one before she got married. That used to be the case. It used to be the case. No tiaras before marriage. It was only married women that wore tiaras in the aristocracy or royal family. But as with everything, times change. There is no hard and fast rule these days on people doing these things. So, yeah, I mean, officially that is the case, but it doesn't really matter if you don't. The world is not going to cave in. The sky is not going to drop on your head if you pick up and place a tiara on your unmarried head. Yeah, it's not going to make any difference to anybody. Lisa says, I would commission one just because I could. I would too. You know I would. I would too, just to have one. Whether I wore it or not, I would just have one. Right, I'm going to have to go now. So, thank you for watching this video. It really does mean the world to me that you have subscribed, that you watch this brand new channel. It is still in effect a brand new channel. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media and also hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me in Shropshire, to you all, and goodbye. Mwah.